I mean, there's no mystery in the Kardashians. Kim, Khloe, Kris, when that airs, they know every word that's going to come out of. I mean, it is like, imagine the producer emails between Kris and, I mean, there's no, Kardashians is not dark and dirty. It's edited. We love it. It's like I mean, they're the most famous family in the world, literally.
And that works because they're a family, because blood is thicker than water, because in the end, and they've gone through adversity. I mean, my God, Robert Kardashian, all of that stuff, Bruce Jenner, Caitlyn Jenner, they've gone through some big freaking shit.
They stick together.
It makes you tighter. You stick together, you know what I mean? And that's another family that are survivors. I mean, back in the days of Billy Blanks, when we'd all be doing Billy Blanks together. And I remember going in there and I had a Frank Mueller watch on, and Kris Jenner said to me, like, oh, I love that watch. I want one so bad. And I'm like, I was so young. I'm like, well, you should get one. And she was just like, I can't right now. And they had moved from wherever they were living in the city out to, Calabasas, when no one was living in Calabasas. It was just kind of empty, hotter than hell in the summertime. You didn't live in Calabasas. And, she was managing Bruce, trying to get him signing gigs. Donnie and I would see him down at Disney World for the ESPN Disney weekend, where all these athletes would come, and Bruce was like, the Olympian. And, we'd hang out, and they were like just getting by, taking free Disney trips. And that family stuck together through all of it. And that's why, because it's a family. You go on a show where you're not really even friends, because real friends, if one of my real friends were on that show and I knew some dirt, do you think I'm going to say that about him if it's a real friend? No. They can't have real friendship on the show. It doesn't work.
Right. And I can guarantee you, if Khloe was sitting there and someone was, accusing her of these things, and Kim Kardashian was sitting next to her, there would be blood. There would actually be blood on the carpet. They stick, that's a sister.
And I think one of the reasons why I love New York so much is that they could go at each other and they could fight, but it wasn't in such a cutthroat way from the past seasons. Even when Bethany would have, like, her tongue was like a sword. I mean, she was the way she cut him, it was like, oof. But they rolled with it. They let it roll off their back. And, it was kind of, it was funny, and they got over it quickly. That's what made New York so great. And then Jersey came, and it was the families. It was Teresa and the cousins, where she's like, I just don't want you in my life anymore. And that was hard for me.
Jersey's a mess, honey.
Yeah. And where's that element? What makes it a mess is because it's real. It's families.
It's real. It's going to come back. I mean, Melissa and Joe don't speak. I mean, it's the difference with Melissa and Joe and Teresa, that's over. I'm telling you, it's not like Kathy and Kyle. They're done. They hate each other. It's just done. It's not reconciling. That's my honest opinion.
That's sad. That's really sad, because, their parents are gone. They don't have any other siblings. It's just the two of them, right?
Yep.
And those kids, those are their aunts and uncles.
And the kids are involved. And apparently next season, Teresa's daughter comes out and reveals, which is, we've all known for years, that Joe, the brother, took out his second mortgage or third mortgage on the parents' house and defaulted and lost the parents' house, which is kind of a known thing.
Wait a minute, Joe?
Allegedly. The brother. Joe Gorga, Teresa's brother. Allegedly, the rumor is took out. This is apparently what one of Teresa's daughters brings up on camera next season. Allegedly that he took out like a third mortgage or whatever it is on the parents' house and defaulted and lost the parents' house. And Teresa's now saying, you see, everyone says what they want about me, but I've been protecting this secret forever. And now you all see why it's not me, it's them. But it's really like they've all unfollowed. It's like, I really think it's over. I mean, he's already said my comedy career is going to last longer than her marriage. But
if the show ended and they had 2 years of, like, living in when this is and you may think differently. I think that when these franchises, when this eventually ends and there's no more cameras following them, and if nobody signs them to another TV deal and they just go back to their life in their place in privacy, people will forget about every damn one of these people.
Oh, I don't disagree with that.
Yeah. Every one of them. And it's, you know, not, they didn't have 15 minutes of fame, but it's not going down in the books as like, that was like someone who gave you some award-winning performance, and you know, you just want to take a picture with them, you know, because they were some great person. And it's more of like the people that take a picture with like freaking KATHRYN. Sorry,
I think I have a picture with KATHRYN. I've tried to get KATHRYN on this very podcast, but you understand that he's on brand for this pop culture podcast, KATHRYN. Catherine's looking at me like, okay. But I agree with everything you said. I mean, you look at like, okay, like there's the LVPs, but even that, but you look at all the other housewives, they're still out there. If some listener right now ran into one of them in the mall or something, they would scream, or the airport, they'd want the picture. But the general world, you know, that has faded for the people that are off the show. So it's going to happen to everyone.
Of course, and there'll be another reality show that comes on in the same way as that it's like, you know, a musical artist that you love and you're screaming and you have a crush on them and you know, fight to get front row seats. And as soon as that person stops making music and the next Justin Bieber, whomever comes out, now your crush is on that person and you're fighting for front row for that person. And the one that you had the crush on, you remember it fondly and all those were great times, but that's just not where you're at anymore.
I mean, listen, it's not, we have a lot of, you know, 20 something listeners, but we have a lot of listeners that are in their 40s and 50s and 60s. Even someone wrote me the other day, it's in their 70s, which I love. Wow. But so people have seen these things come and go. I don't know why everyone has lost sight of this, that I'm going to rip the Band-Aid off. Real Housewives of every franchise will be gone one day. It'll not be anywhere on any TV show, and you can go into the archives and watch it just like you want to watch like I had Jack Osborne on the other day. I was talking about it's coming up. He was like, you can't even find our episodes that readily anywhere. I'm like, that's a shame, because you are the first family. Kardashians owe their whole life to you guys, but that's another story. But I hate to break it to everyone, this is going to be gone. Gone. I don't know if it's tomorrow, 5 years from now, but I mean, the real world is over, and American Idol. Remember when 40 million people watch Kelly Clarkson and Carrie Underwood? It's still on, but it's not a thing we talk about really anymore. Housewives is just.
Who was the curly-haired kid? Who was the curly-haired kid that was on with Kelly Clarkson's?
Well, he was on.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
I know, because I've interviewed him on the Behind the Velvet Rope podcast, Justin Guarini.
Right. If Justin Guarini walked down the street and I saw him, I would say, like, I don't know where I know him from. I probably couldn't even place it.
I could place him, but I understand your point.
That's what I'm saying. And I'm not saying